The last draft grade of the season. Ravens flock. Let's fly. We got John O. Alberts here. He's picking from the 11 spot. He goes Diggs, Mixon, that turn. Kyle Pitts, J.K. Dobbins, Allen Robinson, Lamar Jackson. Comes back with A.J. Dillon, Devontae Smith, round 7 and 8. Goes Pickens, Kenneth Walker. Goes Josh Palmer, Kenny Gainwell, Isaiah McKenzie, Mike Davis. Let's look at this team. Obviously, we will go to the history. And, I mean, it's been downhill. Obviously, that 2022 year. Followed up a championship with the Sacco. Got the championship, so it is what it is. How's he bouncing back? How's he bouncing back from these two down years? The team's good, fellas. The team's good. The team's good. I mean, Lamar was a second-round pick just 2 years ago, you know, following the MVP before the injury. To get him in the 5th is good. Joe Mixon, fine. A.J. Dillon makes up for not being able to get one of those elite running backs. A.J. Dillon could be great. I think he's top 20. If Aaron Jones goes down, he's like the number 3 running back. So you got to factor that in a little bit. But he's top 20, I think, if Aaron Jones is healthy all season. Packers are going to pound the ball. Diggs, wide receiver 1 ceiling. Allen Robinson, where Allen Robinson was drafted. I mean, he could burn you. Obviously, he didn't do anything last year, but people forget that he was a 3rd-round pick that year because he was coming off like wide receiver 10, wide receiver 12 finishes. He is, how old is he? He's not old yet. Maybe it says somewhere in here. Age 29. I mean, he's getting to that point where you don't want him in a few years, but you might still want him now. Pitts, no Calvin Ridley. Had an amazing rookie season, so, you know, he might catch a bunch of balls in PPR. And then it gets stronger, too. You got the flex, you got Devontae Smith, you got the option of Dobbins. I mean, Dobbins could come back, and what if he finishes the season strong? The Gabe Davis thing, so we just talked about it with that last team, right? We traded Pickens for, this team was the one who received Gabe Davis. I think it takes it to a whole new ceiling. You can't deny this is probably the deepest team in the league at that flex spot, at least for right now. Looking at just the opportunity of Gabe Davis could be top 15. So you look around and it's the bench upside. The wide receivers just have a lot of upside. What are the odds that at least Allen Robinson, Devontae Smith, or Gabe Davis creeps in that top 15? One of them probably will, maybe 2, as long as Diggs does what he does. The weakness is probably RB, but it's not super weak. Maybe Mixon just does mostly what he did last year. Dillon and Dobbins, you just need one of them to work out. You don't need 2. You only got to start 2 running backs. You just need one of those to work out. The bench is pretty high upside. Look at all these guys. If Penny's injured, Kenneth Walker's a guy. Miles Sanders injured, Gamwell's a guy. If Diggs or Gabe Davis goes down, still got McKenzie. And KJ Hamler, you know, if Sutton or Judy goes down, I mean, he's a flex play too. So I don't know how you look at this team and you don't necessarily like it. I can get why you don't love it because drafted at that 11 spot, right? The best players are Diggs and Mixon. You know, you didn't have any super elite running backs fall to you, but I feel like with the draft spot, it's about as good as you can do. The trade helps, right? I think pre-trade, you're looking at a B or a B+. But once you acquire Gabe Davis, it's basically like you picked in the 5th round. It's basically like you picked Lamar and Gabe Davis in the 5th round and then just gave up your 10th round picks. So you got to give it an A-. You got to give it an A-. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the season plays out. Because I know I typically give a good draft grade for this owner, right? Everyone knows I give a good draft grade for this owner. The last couple of years hasn't worked out. You got the injuries last year. You got some stuff before. We'll see what happens, but championship ceiling, I think barring injuries, probably a lock to make the playoffs. I think the 2 teams locked to make playoffs, aside from injuries, would be Sin for Sarah and Ravens flock let's fly. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously betting a lot on the Ravens, betting a lot on the injury regression there, but what else are you going to say? If you don't like it, you don't like it, but that trade definitely catapults it above a couple other teams, I would say. Took a little leapfrog there. That's it. That's the draft grades, boys. All right. The last draft grade of the season.